Welcome, everybody. I got a big turnout for SEO. I guess there's some interest in that these days. I'm going to step out here a little bit so I can see the screen and get out from behind the podium a little bit. So, the big question, is SEO dead? No. But it is a little bit on life support. Actually, right now is one of the craziest times in SEO that we've ever had since search engines became a thing on the internet. It's evolving super quickly. It's more important probably than it ever has, but it has the potential to be less important than it ever has based on how things are going in the environment right now. So what is SEO? If you're asking that question, there's 3 other sessions going on right now. You may have stumbled into the wrong one. But it's the use of keywords, smart content creation, links, tags, and other metadata to improve your rank search in search engines. We've all been doing it for decades at this point, mostly to appease our Google overlords. Google pretty well sets what we do for search engines. Yeah, there are other search engines out there. Bing exists. You can look into it. There's a few others, and they've risen a little bit in popularity in recent years. Google is actually down to about 85% of search engine traffic these days. There's a number of reasons why that's happening. AI is obviously a part of that. We're going to get into some of that. But also, your data with Google is questionable. You know, they're private. There are some of the other search engines that are kind of coming up in popularity, try to be a little bit more private with your data. There's been a little pushback on Google for some of that. But for the most part, Google is still what we're looking at. So there you go. 82% of global search traffic in 2024. These are why SEO matters. Search engines generate traffic for all of us. And somebody asked me earlier, what about a video? Well, you still need SEO for a YouTube video. You got to have a proper title. You want to use the right keywords. You want to hit a niche. You still want to do the same features. It doesn't really matter what your media content is. You still want to adhere to the SEO practices. If you have a podcast, sure, it doesn't necessarily fall into the same kind of search engines. It stretches out into other areas, but you'll want keywords and titles and things that rank well in the different podcast search options. Search visibility builds brand awareness and authority. Those things come in handy as you grow as an outlet or even maintaining where you're at. Brand awareness and authority helps us as content creators, writers, whether that's freelance or working at I work for Wild Sam Magazine now. Like we think about SEO all the time when we're posting stuff online. It's why we've been doing this for a long time. And yeah, without it, you'll get lost in the crowd. As we all know, there's a ton of content every day that hits the web. And if you're not feeding the machine and doing the right processes, you'll get lost pretty quickly and easily. And you want to maintain your levels so that when Google does find you, they are sending folks your way. And it's great for tracking your SEO metrics, for knowing what's doing well for you. Most of us probably use Google Analytics to take a look at what websites, what articles, what links are performing the best, so we know how to address our audiences, what needs a refresh, what needs an update, that kind of things. So threats to SEO in this day and age, and there's a bunch. Google controls the algorithm. They can change it on a dime, and they often do without letting any of us know. That's just the way it goes. In 2021, they did change practices with product review guidelines, and it hit a lot of websites pretty hard. They basically, what they put out was, they gave us heads up on that one. And what they put out made sense, like create good content, original content, use original photos, things of that nature. But some of the sites that they were using reviews to drive content to sell product, were not always adhering to those guidelines previously, and they lost a lot of traffic. And also some sites that were adhering to those practices got hit hard and had to kind of go back and look at their strategy, revamp what they were doing, and revamp some of their old reviews to make it fit. AI search. Obviously, this is a big one. 70% AI search, if you've seen it, it generates an answer to your question. It may or may not include links back to where the content was found. Some do, some don't. Google has really experimented with how they display those AI searches. Bing as well. OpenAI, one of the big AI companies out there, they're working on a search engine now that's AI driven. They have no links back at theirs. Google does, but they're usually at the bottom. But the studies have shown, oh goodness, I'm about to get played off like someone at the Academy Awards who's gone too long. The amount of click-through rate from a AI search page is 70% less than a normal Google page. So it's a huge thing. Downranking of outdated content. If you have stuff on your site that's old, outdated, not performing well, doesn't have proper keywords and things, it'll hit your SEO. So what can you do? Stay up on the current trends. That's what we're here to talk about. These guys are actually going to give you really useful information while I just throw out the stats. Create a content update strategy. That's to keep track of some of those things that have been on your site for a long time that maybe need to refresh, maybe need to go away. Sometimes it means cutting content. AI search trends. Obviously, this is going to be a big deal. Who knows what robots.txt is? So this is a text file on your website that you can use to block search crawlers. Most of the time, you don't want to do that. We wanted Google to send us stuff. But if certain AI actors are not playing by the rules very well, you can block them using that. Now, there are a few that don't. They ignore that. That's a whole nother story. We won't. But that's a way of keeping some things at bay. Diverse content strategy. That can be things from not just doing blogs, videos, podcasts, audio, whatever, looking at different ways to expand what you're doing. And this is probably the most important thing. Continue creating good, authoritative, original content. That'll always make you stand out. Having a real writer, not an AI, doing it is a huge deal. And making sure that your stuff is original and has its own voice and adheres to what your brand's trying to build. We'll probably have a bunch of questions we can answer on that. So I'm going to pass it on.
Here. All right. The title is, a little clickbaity, but it's also a spoiler alert, so you kind of get the end of the story. But this sums it up. The end. Any questions? Basically, there's been a series of Google updates over the last 2 years that came at an unprecedented rate. Typically, Google was releasing algorithm updates on the average of like 2 a year, core updates. And then in 2021, it just started like going rampant. I think all those remote workers at Google were really getting a lot done during COVID. So quick history of OutdoorEmpire.com. This is a website that we acquired. I'll get to that momentarily. The former owner, 22-year-old dude in Estonia, hired a bunch of American writers on Upwork to crank out a whole bunch of product reviews over 4 years, actually built it up to be pretty good. Well-written, good stuff, but kind of a lot of that classic regurgitated information they read from Amazon reviews and elsewhere. But they were really killing it on a lot of big, fat keywords. Had 500,000 sessions a month and were making $50,000 in strictly affiliate income, and that was November of 2020. December of 2020, there was the first of many big Google algorithm updates. The acquisition closed in January, and by then it already dropped 30%, 350,000 sessions and $35,000 in revenue. Still all affiliate. Mostly Amazon, probably half Amazon actually, and half like Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, Optics, Planix. It's mostly hunting, camping, hiking, and fishing reviews, all right? So you search for best 308 rifle. Those were the glory days when just that page alone was getting like $1,000 a month and 25,000 views. So here the Google product review update. First one, big one in April 2021 hit late in the month, and it was an immediate free fall. All right. So we went down to 170,000 views or sessions that month and $14,000 in revenue. So you see the trend. I mean, it carries on. 6 updates later, we're down making a whopping $5,000. And this is actually when I actually moved back and started working on this full time. And, before that, I was just getting my sea legs under me. I came from sales and marketing, but not from necessarily digital marketing or affiliate marketing or any of this business. So here I am. And then hit rock bottom June of 2022, $400. And I will tell you, this acquisition was over $1 million that we paid for this website. Okay, so that hurts, right? So $400 of interest a month, there's better things you can spend your money on. But we essentially needed to rebuild. And I want to point out too, we did a ton of stuff. I mean, all of the things, starting even early on, but especially through all of 2021, all of 2022, the entire strategy was SEO. We hired people, professionals from highfalutin agencies to freelancers. We had 5 independent SEO audits. We did all the technical SEO, link building. I mean, by that 3rd, 4th, and 5th audit, they were like, this is, you got a really slick website. You're doing great. Look at Google Search Console. Everything's in the green. No red flags, no errors, no 400 errors, no redirect weirdness. Everything is just popping, right? We even did a ton of colon content. We cut out a whole bunch of content, including a bunch of gun stuff. We thought, because there's a lot of hunting stuff, there was some tactical stuff on there, which thought, well, maybe Google just really hates that because of the elections or whatever. And so we moved a bunch of that out of there, did nothing. We spent a lot of time and money, redid site architecture or internal linking, EEAT, although we could still use a little work there, but we did stuff. And then we finally gave up because we saw stuff like this. Last year, I wrote this review, followed all those Google guidelines that Craig mentioned. This is literally, I believe it still is, the only existing written review of that particular tent on the internet. We don't even rank for the word spring bar skyliner, but you might notice the photo there. That's on page 1 of the Google SERP, right at the top. But if you look at the domain, that is not outdoorempire.com. That is affluentpagemagazine.net. That is a 100% parasite rip-off spam site. Scraped us, didn't even spin the content. Same template, a copycat. All right, this is the demise of Outdoor Empire. Boo-hoo. What do we do? So we're not alone, okay? So Detailed put out this big report. They analyzed 10,000 different keywords that are all focused around product reviews. This is stuff like not just outdoor stuff, but best vacuums, best coffee makers, best sleeping bags, all those types of keywords, all right? And in that study, they found that 3 brands own 36 of the top 100 product review sites, okay? Hearst, Dotdash Meredith, and Future. They also uncovered, and I should say only 4 of those sites are independently owned sites, okay? Only 4 appeared in the top 100 product review sites on the internet. 4 of them are independently owned. Then there's Reddit. And the story of Reddit's a beautiful one if you are a Reddit shareholder, okay? It's wonderful because their traffic absolutely skyrocketed. In January of 23, they were ranked number 235 in this same study that these guys did for the same set of keywords. Well, Reddit now ranks for more best X keywords than any other website on the internet. In fact, they are present in the first 10 results of 67% of those 10,000 keywords they looked at, which is twice as much as the New York Times Wirecutter. However, they don't have as many number 1 spots, but they are killing it, all right? And so by the end of that year, they're number 1, right? Well, only a few months later, this information comes out. Now I'm going to get a little bit conspiratorial here, all right? But let's indulge me. It's fun. So Reddit, they announced that they have this deal with Google. Google is paying Reddit upwards of $60 million per year to license all of their content to train Google's AI to try to win in that AI race. And do you think they just made that deal just happenstance? Oh, this is the number 1 site. No, deals like that don't happen overnight, right? So all these algorithm updates are really favoring Reddit. And even, search terms for best cooler coming up with a 5-year-old post of a cooler that's not made anymore. That's really frustrating, and especially when Good Housekeeping gets number 2. And I personally have 70 coolers in a storage unit that I've thoroughly tested. So, boo-hoo. All right. So the same stuff that made Google's or Reddit's traffic skyrocket hurt Outdoor Empire. What do? Well, we decided maybe we're not going to win at SEO. Okay, so lesson number one. These are some things we are doing because instead or in place of. It's just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Even if Dwight thinks that's a good idea. There are ways. How do I want to put it? We had one source of traffic, which was Google, and we had one source of revenue, which was affiliate. So that has got to change. I also would say that so we learned that no SERPs for you, right? Okay, so there's no such thing as recovery from a Google update. It's more like rediscovery, okay? You've got to change what you're doing. You've got to redirect resources, and you probably got to do other stuff. And for us, that meant diversifying traffic sources, and that also meant video, okay? So I'm sorry if you're just really into writing, but I think in the current content landscape, if you really want to grow, video is a must, okay? It's just got to happen, at least if you're small. If you're small and independent and you don't want Google to think you're an AI, then you've got to do video. It's kind of YouTube, it's like Alphabet's fun-loving middle child who embraces things that journalism purists hate, like clickbait titles and thumbnails. So you can have a little fun with it too. SEO doesn't work. Google doesn't like me, but YouTube will accept me for who I am. All right. So lesson number 4 is we're trying to meet people where they are and use our website to convert rather than to get all the views, right? So meeting members on the meeting audience members where they are, whether that's YouTube or social platforms. Now, we're not really winning at social. We've tried paid ads and we're experimenting with different things, but our main emphasis has been in long form videos on Outdoor Empire YouTube channel, and that is something that is growing. The other interesting thing about this is you have immediate feedback. It's not like the SEO sandbox where you put an article out there and you wait 3 to 6 months and you cross your fingers, you climb to the first page. This is, very soon if that kind of content is going to work or not. And sometimes you get little surprises down the road and you actually do pretty well. We're also building an email list, trying to get a direct connection with our audience. And then I'll just sum it up here with the last lesson, which is that outdoor brands, big and small, kind of need to be friends. I don't know if you know this guy. This is Ron Spilmer. Anybody know Ron Spilmer? Sweet, we got a couple fans. He's got a pretty big YouTube channel, fellow Idahoan, big in the hunting scene, and really just neat guy, all about conservation and hunting, and has a respectable audience. And he invited me, little old me, to come out to his ranch there and do a project with him. And this kind of collaboration, I think, is really helpful because it helps us build industry authority and not just individual authority. And we both got something out of it. So there's lots more to say. I could take questions when it's time, and I'm happy to stick around if you've got anything you want to chat about later. But let's be excellent to each other.
Right. First, let's sit here if you guys don't mind. My name's Tim Romano. Little backstory on how we got here. Mine's a non-SEO SEO story, I guess. I've run and owned the industry trade publication called Angling Trade Fly Fishing Industry for. Is this not working? Did anyone hear me? It's fine. Okay. So I've run Angling Trade for the last almost 20 years with a partner of mine named Kirk Dieter. We, I've gotten pretty used to having a captive audience. We sell advertising to make our money. We've been talking for the past few years about going into the consumer side, and like Craig and Jason been saying, we've been looking at SEO stuff, and it's been, mind-bogglingly head-spinning. So we just, thinking, how are we going to do this? How are we going to go into the consumer realm? So we decided to do a survey of about 1,000 different consumers, not a scientific survey. Got 1,000 people to answer pretty long questions, all for free reel. A chance at a free reel. We were kind of surprised, but there was a ton of stuff in there. But what really blew our mind is the trust side of stuff. 53% of fly fishing consumers basically said they don't trust product reviews. We had it broken down, and they don't trust magazines, they don't trust websites, they definitely don't trust influencers, and really the surprising thing to us was that they don't trust retail establishments, at least in fly fishing. I can't say whether this goes across the whole outdoor industry, but it got us thinking, well, how are we going to do consumer publication and make money with advertising and be authentic? So we created something called Fly Lab. It's two parts, really. It's everything in front of the paywall. It's tips, tricks, hacks, your typical kind of content. And then what we really take pride in is our reviews. Pardon me, I've been on the road for 10 days, so I'm breathing smoke, losing my voice. So we really take pride in our reviews and how we do it. And you're probably wondering, how are we making money? So the other side of Fly Lab is we have a membership model. The content's kind of a bit of a marketing funnel. We get people in, they believe our reviews, they look at our stuff, and then we sell them a membership. And our membership is, we partner right now, we have 60 partners. We have outfitters, fly shops, lodging, schools, apps, magazine, travel insurance, rental companies, which is gear, boats, companies that have access to private water, nonprofits, et cetera, et cetera. You buy a membership with us, you get in, you get access to all of our partners' discounts. Once you're a member, we have a back end, a community where, we just launched this year, but we're growing pretty quickly, and we visit it as a place where members and our partners can all talk to each other, things like that. But that's where you also get your discounts. So this will come back to SEO, I promise. But part of what we do with our reviews is we're incredibly thorough. We won't take any, I don't know if I said it, but we won't take any endemic advertising. We won't do any affiliate linking directly to gear manufacturers, but we will do affiliate linking to retail and retail partners. We love fly shops. We want to support them. We'll push affiliate sales back to them. I was going to show you guys how we do a review. It's pretty comprehensive, but I didn't want to screw with the AV, so I'm just going to go through each real quickly. Our reviews are pretty comprehensive. We start off with as many photos as we can, every angle. We also do lifestyle stuff. We think it's important to show all of it. We let the company say what they want to say in the product description, company ethos, which is definitely important to a lot of younger generations. And then we do our take. We have something called the skinny. I'm looking at this one right here. I'm sorry I can't show you guys, but it's a quick Sage fly reel. You basically say, it's a nice reel. There's 5 paragraphs. We go on to say it's imported. There are 4 others you can buy, which are cheaper, probably better. If you like Sage, go for it. 5 paragraphs on that. We then do hits and misses. So this one has 4 pros, 3 cons. Value, we kind of list the value proposition. It's a $330 reel. We say it's kind of expensive for, a little trout reel. It's not doing a lot, but there's nothing. It's fine. It's imported. Whatever. Buy it if you like it. We give every spec that we can think of. We also list a video here if we have it or if the company has it. We list warranty policy for every review we have. And then we do a verdict. And the verdict is our conclusion. It's pretty quick. What others are saying at other sites. If someone else on our team has tested the product, we continue there. And then we do have links to our partners that are affiliates or otherwise. Back to SEO. SEO is not totally dead, so you still have to pay attention to it, right? We, honestly are building all this new. We've been running the same website for a long time. We're kind of learning all this as we go, but a lot of stuff that we've been doing is, it's stuff that you guys all know. Keep your headlines well written, sub headlines. You got to think about it. In a world of AI generated content, personal perspective is huge. We think that we kind of own that space since we know it really well. as do our pros and people who are reviewing for us. Photos and alt tags. I'm sure you guys all know that there's been a lot of accessibility stuff recently. Our trade website, I had to go back and get a bot basically to alt tag 15,000 images or something. But on the flip side, it helps with SEO, especially with images. Like, I know it takes a little bit more time to do a descriptive tag for your file name instead of DSC897. Take a little time, write what it is. Do the alt tag, what it is. Things like that. 2 minutes, okay. Succinct narratives, content with, value-driven narratives still stand out for readers and search engines. We built our website on something called Webflow, which is both a hosting service and it's a no-code platform that, I'll be honest, it's taken me a little bit to get used to the interface. It's a little annoying if you're used to something like WordPress or something you can change. There's a lot of things I'm learning how to hack in Webflow that aren't as easy, but it is screaming fast. It is a really, really amazing platform for speed, which is super important these days. Server speed, so they're our host, they're fast. The site is really fast. Images these days, we do everything as a WebP image, which I've been doing comparisons even with like super compressed JPEGs. WebP images are 1/10 the size, and like you can't tell the difference the way they look, and it's a lot faster. Old sites, I think a lot of people use WordPress. I still use WordPress for our trade site, but it costs me money every month. Plugins go bad. It's super bloated code, long load times, things like that. So consider using some of these newer no code stuff. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. It's a bit of a learning curve, but you'll get there. This kind of just goes to talk about more with that. Webflow does everything basically for you. It has built-in SEO tools, meta tags, auto sitemaps, auto alt text, and it's super responsive, multi-friendly, integrates easy with third-party platforms, and I can build this. That's it. I'll take questions.
No questions. Have a nice day.